Welcome to the My Home Compare demo. I'm going to make this video as short and sweet as I can, taking you through how to set up a home compare report for an existing client. I hope you all are as excited about this platform as I am. What a great way to stay in touch with not only your past buyers, but also your sphere and potential sellers. So I have logged in to the back end. Remember, we've got kansascityhomes.com/backend. This is my dashboard after I've signed in. I'm going to click on the hamburger up here in the upper right. We are going to go to CRM. From here, I'm going to click into one of my contacts. We'll go into one of my little fake accounts here. I've talked before, if you've come to one of my Home Suite Basics class, about the magic box above a contact's name, and that's where we're going to head here. So we're going to this box right up here. You're going to click on this. At the very bottom of this, you're going to click on Create Home Compare Report. It's going to carry over their first name and last name. In this field, you're going to put in the title of the report. So we're going to call this the Fakers Home Compare Report. Here we're going to type in an address. As we start typing, it should start autofilling here for you. The map will auto-populate. If you see on here that the house is not in the correct spot or the correct pin, you can take this, hold down on your mouse on the house, and you can move this wherever you want it or wherever it needs to be updated to. By moving that, you are going to adjust, if you are doing a radius map, you are going to adjust the center point of the radius. It's all going to be centered around this house. So down below, it has auto-populated and pulled down our street address. Over here, we've got to select our city, which is Olathe. Google down here gives you a suggestion. Our county is, in fact, going to be Johnson. Our subdivision is Park Hill Manor. Important that you select a subdivision from the drop-down, and I'll show you why here in just a little bit, but it will improve the information that's given to the clients. Mailing address down here, I'm going to copy property address from above. Oh, somehow our street address up here got messed up with my autocorrect. We're still in Olathe. Okay, so now we're going to copy property address. Okay, down here at the bottom of this screen, we've got email settings. Here you can select the frequency that you want the client to receive the reports. They will receive email updates when and if a new home comes on the a new listing comes on the market, a price change, and a status change. If you want them to potentially get those daily, you'll want to select that. Weekly, monthly, pretty self-explanatory here. We're going to select daily. Just FYI, similar to home search, these are going to go out early in the morning, sometime between 5 and 6 a.m. Here are your agent options on how you want to be notified within just this home report. If you want to be notified on a new listing, you select the box. There's a price change, status change, and then if you want to get an email when the user enters a site, you can check this box. And I will forewarn you with this system, the user interface on it is a little bit easier for the clients. If they're logging in from a consistent device, it is going to remember them. So they're not going to have to log in every single time they click through one of our email updates. So you might not get emails when they enter the site at the frequency you did on our old site. So just be aware of that. If you're not getting those emails, it doesn't mean that they're not accessing the site, just because our site's a lot better and easier to use on the client side, so they're not having to log in as often. Seller options over here. This is the emails that you want your seller, or really your homeowner, to receive. So new listing, price change, status change. I'm going to select all of those. And then I'm going to hit next step down here. So the default on here is a radius, and the radius is set at 0.5 miles. That's going to be your default. If you don't want to use a radius and you want to, for instance, draw a polygon, you can do that. So up here, we've got some options with our map. We can delete the radius by just clicking the X next to it and draw a new one, or we can draw a polygon. For this house, I'm going to draw a polygon. To do that, I'm going to take my plus cursor sign here, click, click, click here, and then back up to the beginning point, and that'll complete my polygon. Once I have my map set the way that I want it, I'm going to click on this caret or down arrow right up here. This is going to bring up, think of this as the more options if you're setting up a search. Now keep in mind, you're not going to set this up like you would for a buyer. You want to keep this as broad and general as possible. The more filtered you get with the results, the less information you're really giving to your client, and you want to give them maximum amount of information on this. You don't want a sign to go into one of their neighbors' yards and for them not to get an email. They're immediately going to think that our system is flawed, that you're not providing them all the details, and it's not going to be as valued to them as it could be. So keep these pretty broad. Up here you've got the general price range, bathrooms, bedrooms, garages. Down here you can select or deselect neighborhoods. So if I want to select, if I don't want, let's say I don't want St. James Court in here, I'm going to select all of them because it's maintenance provided. It doesn't compare well with this house. I'm going to deselect that but select everything else. The polygon that I drew covers both Blue Valley and the Olathe School District, so I might select one or the other. I might select just Olathe because this house is really in the Olathe School District. I'm going to go ahead and let him see everything though because I want him to see what's going on. Down here, these are pretty important fields, and pretty soon you're going to see these possibly moved up here to the top in an enhancement. But your days back on non-active. So this is for your sold property. This is really where the value comes in for the clients. I like to go back at least 90 days on sold properties. If I was using a radius search, I could adjust that here as well as on the map. I'm not going to change any of these other options down below. Down here, you can get into changing just about every search option that you have available on the home search, but I'm going to, again, keep this pretty broad. When I'm done making these adjustments, I'm going to click right up here at the top, Refine Report. This is also available at the bottom of the screen too. So this takes us back into this view. Down here, I've got my summary. This tells me what I've done on the previous page, so I know if I need to go back and make any adjustments if I've forgotten anything. Down below, it's going to give me a list view of the different categories that we currently have houses sitting in. So we've got 4 actives right now, 3 show for backup, 5 pending, 20 sold. If I want to ignore a property, let's say you've got an outlier that you don't want to skew all of the information that's going to the clients, because you're going to see in a minute that there are some great reports, some highs, averages, lows on sales price, on listing price, etc. That information is going to be skewed if you've got an outlier property. So if you have one, I'll just use this one as an example, and you don't want it to be included in their report, you're just going to click Ignore. If at any time you want to come back and put it back into the back into their report summary, you can come back and re-click, and it'll populate in their report. Clients don't have the ability, this ignore and unhide ability. We do. So once you're comfortable with these results, down here at the bottom, we are going to go ahead and hit save and proceed to next step. You do have the option to start over or to reset the criteria. So if you have really messed this up and you want to just start over, you can hit reset criteria here. We're going to go ahead and hit save and proceed to the next step. This is going to take us to the Home Compare Report Welcome email. The subject, you can adjust this if you want to. If you want to be blind copied on this email this email is going to your client, go ahead and check the blind copy box here. Down here it gives you a preview of the email. This is going to put your signature in there. You really don't need to do anything with this email unless you really want to get crazy and customize it. I would leave it alone. Down here again, we've got 3 options. We can go back, we can skip this step and not send them the email, or we can go ahead and hit send email. Once we go ahead and hit send email, we're done. So here's my dashboard in Home Compare. To get to this, If you've come in through the dashboard, you're going to hit CRM. We went in to set up the compare report by clicking on a specific lead. You also have access to it right over here on the left-hand navigation. So this gives me my dashboard of home compare. This is everybody that I've set up so far. One of the ways around the notifications, because we're not receiving email notifications when a client's logged in as frequent on this site, you can see in this column that it does tell you the last use. So you can see who's clicking in, clicking through, and viewing their report. If you want to look at their report summary, you're going to click here. This is going to give you the information that's been input with their report, the notification settings. If you need to make adjustments or edit, you can click right there on the pencil button. To view their report, click on the magic box, and you're going to view client report. This gives you, I'll give you just a quick snapshot real quick of what the client sees. This is going to be their view when they log in. So very similar to the map that you saw. Down here, there's 4 different tabs for them. The competitive listings, this is the enhanced view. So very similar to how it was viewable before. You've got status change, price history over here. The bottom of each of these sections, this is where I was talking about those outliers kind of messing up our data here. We've got metrics on high, low, averages. This is just for the active. So you've got original list price, list date, and then days on market. This is where really our competitive advantage comes into play. There's no other website that displayed sold information the way that this is displaying it. So really you've got a great tool here that is far beyond anything that the clients can access online elsewhere. Zillow, Realtor.com, our competitors' websites, they don't have this information aggregated this way. So down here underneath the solds, we've got our high, our low, our average, again, original list price, sales price. We're actually displaying sold prices. So they can go in here and see what their neighbors' houses have sold for, what the high was, the low was, and then the average. Our list date, and then again, days on market. If they click into one of the sold properties, that's going to be the last list price. But on the, let me go back here, this price is going to be the sales price, so we are displaying that. Real easy to see there. So that is your quick tour of the new Home Compare. Hopefully you find this a valuable tool. I look forward to seeing everybody soon as we get out and get to the offices to train on this. Here's the upcoming training dates. I'll be at the Northland office this Thursday morning. Next Wednesday, I'll be out at the Lee Summit office. That time is actually incorrect. I'm going to be there from 1 to 3. And then September 6th, Friday, I'll be at the Plaza office. September 19th here at corporate. I am trying to do a virtual training class here in the coming week, and stay tuned for those details, but hope to see you all soon and hope you found this tutorial valuable. Thanks much. Have a great day.